What up, it's Casper. Welcome back to another Sinatra Reviews. Today's video, we're going to be looking at the movie Gladiator 2. Gladiator 2 is a 2024 film. It's rated R and it's 2 hours and 28 minutes. Directed by Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott is one of those OG, well-known, top-tier directors. Ridley Scott has worked with Denzel on American Gangster. Ridley Scott, Denzel, the connection is there. Also worked on a movie that I saw, House of Gucci. Really cool to know that I've seen a couple Ridley Scott movies. One of the interests in this movie to go see it right away was definitely knowing that Denzel was in this movie. Denzel is one of those actors that can make anything look phenomenal on screen. His acting is his own game and his acting is his world. I still need to catch up on the first Gladiator movie. Do recall remembering a few moments from that movie, but the storyline is what I'm definitely forgetting what it's about. Don't go watch the first movie and then come out of this movie watching it. Wouldn't be surprised for a lot of the viewers to feel like they don't know what they're getting themselves into. A lot of the main focus of just competing in that Coliseum in that era is the focus, but it's the fact that the storyline is going to throw a lot of people off if you just don't catch up with the first movie. For this movie, I would say that the storyline made sense and the storyline did have a gravitating pull, especially for me because all that era, which I'm very intrigued with. I really want to see how people live back there and their mind process of living back there as well. Their entertainment is the Coliseum, but besides that, the storyline for me did make sense, and the storyline was an intriguing one, especially with the main characters. Paul Mescal, he plays the character Lucius, the most followed character in this movie, with his character of him thinking that he knows how to handle things, and then later in the movie finding later things out that is just interrupting the whole process of what he thought he was gonna do in the beginning. Ends up changing his plans later. But Paul Mescal as Lucius, a great performance, well done on presenting those lines, especially acting with a lot of people who have different levels of high power. Presentation in general was a great look, really cool with the costume design. Everything felt believable. His fighting scenes were very intriguing. He is a standout in this movie. Straight focus, and his one-on-one moments, his lonely moments in this movie, well presented. Really good at showing the emotion. This dude is on a mission, really doesn't like how his people of Rome are becoming what they are. His character really shows a lot of the backstory from the first movie. So his character, great look, good job acting, awesome action scenes, and cool one-on-one with Denzel. Very top tier with Denzel whenever they had their moments. Good job not feeling intimidated on who's acting in front of you. The environment in this movie is super eye-catching. I know there's some special effects and some CGI, but overall I think they did a good job on just showing that whole environment. Being able to see a history movie like this, especially for me, just makes you wonder. A lot of the people, especially in that time, I think they did a good job of just knowing that these people's values are all over the place. It's like a whole experience that we're able to get in this movie, see during that time what their entertainment was, what their mindset was, how they live everyday life, and then just how higher ranked people look at lower ranked people. I thought it was very realistic with every time the camera showed new environments. Good job with the set design. A lot of the stuff looked just very grimy, a lot of musty moments. What else am I gonna see in that era in this movie that I didn't know that they were doing? Denzel Washington plays the character Marcinus, who is a guy who observes prisoners fighting. Basically, he buys the best prisoner that he sees that stands out in those Coliseum matches. And there's levels to these Coliseum matches. They're not always at the Coliseum, but these games that they play with the people, the entertainment that is killing people, Marcinus is the one that picks out the best one. He's like a scout. He buys them, tries to have good reputation with the higher council of everywhere he's trying to go. He's trying to have a good name for himself. He's trying to have good vibes with people. But Denzel's character, Marcinus, is kind of like a two-face along the way watching this movie. He's trying to gain power, moving like a snake, and trying to come up a lot of different ways. The way Denzel was presenting that, I was like, wow, well done, to be honest. And you can't have Denzel in your movie without having the Denzel laugh. Denzel is just the GOAT, literally. This dude is playing this era way long time ago, and he's literally saying like, let me add this Denzel laugh in this section, let me add this posture in this moment. The director knew Denzel was gonna just do his thing, and that's what Denzel did. He did his thing. Very impressive. Even with the costume design, he's really playing that off really well. Denzel for me did a phenomenal job in this whole movie. I was very shocked that this is one of those movies that I'm like, yo, I can't believe that I'm seeing Denzel get murked this bad. Character kind of asked for it. Oh, another movie where I'm like, Gladiator 2, he did a great job. Shout out to the people working behind the scenes because they made Denzel look like a straight boss. You know, he had a lot of jewelry on. The swag was crazy. Is one of the main characters in this movie, so you do see him a lot throughout the movie, and that's one thing I did enjoy. Pedro Pascal was another character where the look in general was an interesting one. Can't believe that Pedro Pascal did a pretty good job in this movie as well. Really like his lines. I like the way that his character didn't feel like a bother throughout the movie, and I also like the fact that they didn't have to use him as much because we do have other actors in this movie actually doing a phenomenal job and visually entertaining. But Pedro Pascal did play his role. Pedro Pascal plays the character General Acacius. The storyline just goes perfectly with his character. You needed a character like Pedro Pascal to pull that off, and I think it did a good job. Intense moments and very dramatic. The anxiety moments with his character is pretty real in this movie. Connie Nielson plays the character Lucia, and her character is more of from Gladiator 1 to Gladiator 2. This is where her lines and her direction is where you gotta kind of watch the first one to know what she's talking about. A lot of her lines is referring from the first movie of basically people she dealt with, and if you're just watching this movie and just hearing her say all these things, especially from the first movie, you're just gonna be left like there's just a lot of talking. So it's really good to know what happened in that first movie. That's basically the detail of the script, is just following along the first one to go to the second one, and it's just time just passed by. Connie Nielson did a great job with her performance. Costume design was great with her. A lot of moments were hitting with her character. A lot of other characters in this movie have a very unique look. Really like the levels of people that were involved in this movie, like the poor, the rich. You could see the levels of where people are at in their lives just trying to survive back then. The soundtrack was great. Could only imagine how this looked in person. The action scenes in this movie were all great. This movie does show up at the Coliseum a lot of times. You're seeing a lot of bloody moments. You're seeing a lot of interesting effects that are helping emphasize these crazy battles that they're dealing with. Every moment that they had in that Coliseum didn't feel like a repetitive one. They changed a dry Coliseum into a mini aquarium where they had sharks. The minds of just showing that, hey, let's not show up to the same Coliseum, the same battle. I think they really emphasize on showing the detail that every game is different, but the main focus is there, just trying to survive those Coliseum games. After my watching Gladiator 2 out of 10, I'm gonna have to give this movie a 9 out of 10. That's my movie review for the movie Gladiator 2. Shout out to you guys for tuning into the video. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, y'all.